Hi, thanks for joining our webinar this evening. We're just still waiting for a few people to jump on the webinar who have registered. Be just a moment. I see some people coming in. Give it a couple more minutes. All right, I think we're seeing our viewers add right up. So I think we will go ahead and get started for this evening's Parent University webinar. Just wanted to say good evening and thank you for joining us. My name is Ann Risso. I'm part of the Communications Department for Douglas County School District. Welcome to Douglas County School District Parent University. And with the help of our partner of Sky Ridge Medical Center, we, with these webinars, try to provide relevant and timely content to our parents and students. And the topic of tonight's Parent University is career pathways, college versus technical education. The timing for this is really nice as we are celebrating Career and Technical Education Month in February. And some of you may have attended the recent Career Pathways Expo that was last week at the Legacy Campus building. Tonight's webinar is offered to parents and high school students who are interested in learning how Douglas County School District guides students through discovery, exploration, and skill development to find a purpose and determine the best path for their his or her future, for the student's future, I should say. So let me introduce our panelists this evening. It's our wonderful post-secondary readiness team, starting with Dan McMenemy. He's the Executive Director of Schools for Pathways, Choice, and Alternative Education. We also have Post-Secondary Readiness Coordinator Amy Barker, Concurrent Enrollment Specialist Matt Chambliss, WorkBased Learning Specialist Kathy Frommer, and Career and Technical Education Specialist Krista Tongren. And following a presentation that the team will be showing, we will be taking questions. You may submit questions a few different ways. You can raise your hand and I'll call on you, or you can enter your questions into the chat box or the question and answer section. So I think at this point, we'll get started with this great presentation, and thank you to the post-secondary readiness team.
Great, Anne, thank you so much for letting us be a part of this, and we're excited to share all the information we can with families about our programming, and we'll try to keep it brief because we get excited and sometimes we can keep it going. So as you just saw, we have our team here with us, and we'll continue to reiterate who we are and some of our roles, but all of us work together overseeing the post-secondary readiness programming across the district. And we're going to set the stage for you just a little bit here with a video that highlights some of the pathways that we have available and opportunities that our students can participate in.
I teach yearbook.
Amy, not to interrupt, but I'm not sure.
College level class,
There we go.
5 credit hour college class.
Do you want me to back up? Sorry, did I mute and it made where they couldn't hear it?
If you wouldn't mind, it's easy to do. That would be great. Thank you.
Sorry about that. My apologies.
I teach yearbook, newspaper, and video production, all of which are advanced classes. Kids are learning all all kinds of marketable skills in my classes. We're learning about reporting and writing and storytelling, photography, graphic design, video editing.
Networking classes, they're learning to program routers and switches and basically set up the backbone of a network because everybody's got to connect to the internet. For a lot of the students, it's the first time that they take a college level class, and for 5 credit hour college class to do in 9 weeks, there's a lot of work.
They learn how to consult. They also learn how to do alignments, rotates, oil changes, pretty much light maintenance. They also learn how to weld on cars. Pretty much anything in the industry is what I'm teaching them.
We have actual animals in the classroom.
So everyone gets to bring in their animals, and we get to teach kids about new animals and new breeds of animals.
All of us FFA members are passionate about agriculture.
I think everyone should join to get an idea of where their food comes from and build their leadership skills.
We've been blessed with a commercial kitchen through the bond. In catering one, they learn the basics, how to read a recipe. We really hit on like breakfast cookery, measuring, cooking techniques. We offer catering too. That goes more into safety, more safety and sanitation. They earn their food handler certification through ServSafe.
Highlands Ranch High School is actually the only school in the whole district that offers Project Lead the Way. The class now is a junior-senior course called Aerospace Engineering. Essentially, Aerospace Engineering is a really specialized mechanical engineering degree program. They learn everything about flight mechanics, the physics of flight. There's a flight simulator. They learn how to fly an aircraft. They know how to control an aircraft. We do orbital space mechanics. We do some robotics in here. We finish off the year with rockets, and that's really cool.
It's like CSI stuff they see on TV, like crime scene analysis, forensic interviews, interrogation. You can see a little remnants of the crime lab. There's blood splatter on the ceiling. There's a crime scene. So the kids had to analyze, collect evidence. We go over sentencing in this class. We're aligned with Morocco Community College, so it's called Concurrent Enrollment. They can simultaneously receive high school credit and college credit, which is, they go to college with a head start. Ready? Look up. Doing good.
There's no other program like it in the country.
I knew that being a firefighter is very physically demanding, and it certainly has been so far.
A lot of them want to be firefighters and really serious about doing this.
I really enjoyed coloring hair. I really like to see like the transformation on people, and I just think it brings a lot of people a lot of happiness to, do their best.
Cosmetology was one of our areas of focus. It's a need that has not been able to be met equitably here in the district prior to having this program. Lots of student interest, not a lot of opportunity.
It feels really good just because I know that I've been going through college and stuff, that I'll have something there that when I enjoy, a job that I can enjoy and have fun in, and something that can genuinely support me.
Sorry, trying to move it. Okay, so we're pretty excited to highlight a lot of the programs that are available across the district. And when we say post-secondary readiness programming, we're really referring to 3 different pieces that all fit together to make this pathway-based opportunity available for our students. So we have kind of the beginning piece of career and technical education, or you may hear the acronym CTE pretty often. Those are related to programs that are representing a progression of learning for students to start from high school and continue on and past graduation into post-secondary opportunities and pathways. They're relevant to a career field of interest, and they really represent a development of skills for students. Part of the next piece is concurrent enrollment, and those we were referring more to courses, which highlight advanced level rigorous programming that is available for students in that pathway. There are concurrent enrollment classes or courses that are part of CTE programs, but there are also concurrent enrollment classes that are available in math and science and some of your core content. So those courses are another piece that layer into this pathway. And then the last piece that we'll talk about is work-based learning. And that's really that kind of experience focused on students who are ready to see, is this pathway right for me? Is it something that I'm really truly interested in? Is it the right fit? And it's giving them that look at the world of work and what does this job look like day to day. It helps answer a lot of questions for students in determining, is this right? Or should I shift my focus and maybe save myself some money and time? And now I know that this is maybe not the place I want to be. So all of these pieces come together to really represent post-secondary readiness programming and setting students up to be successful and find that right path for the future. When we talk about the opportunities available for students, we try to stay away from the either or conversation, because really it's all of the pieces that fit together, and that each student's going to find their own unique path, whether it's advanced training that they started in a CTE program, they really found what fits for them, and they're interested in going into a tech school or advanced training program or something very specific to a pathway of interest. The next piece is continued education. A 2-year school, a 4-year school, continuing on to advanced degrees. These are all things that set students up to know, am I choosing the right major? Am I finding the right degree program? And is this leading me in a path that I'm interested in? And technical schools can also be a part of that. The other option is military service. Concurrent enrollment classes help students who are going into the military because it's going to give them a higher level of rank when they enter in having college credits. And then our CTE courses and work-based learning opportunities really set students up with skills that can make them successful and find that specialty in the military service that sets them up for finding what they want to do there. And then the last piece is starting a career. Students can graduate high school, they can obtain some skills, have some college credits, get that work-based learning experience, and then be ready to start a career. And sometimes we hear about all of these wonderful opportunities that exist for students to go in and have a company pay for their education, to pay for their training, to provide tools. And you'll probably hear a little bit more even from Kathy, our work-based learning specialist, about there's so many programs that exist that set students up to enter a workforce, start a career, and really continue on and be supported by a company of interest. So the next piece I want to share is that each of our pathways are aligned with the Colorado Career Cluster Model. And this is a model that comes from the Labor Workforce Development Council, and they define what some of these clusters are, and then we align with them in the CTE world and try to make sure that we have opportunities for students to pursue any of these pathways. We don't offer all the pathways, but we do have over 24 offered in Douglas County School District, and they all lead to a defined high skill, high wage, in demand career. So I'm going to let our specialist, Krista Tongren, talk more about CTE.
I hate that. Sorry. I'm Krista Tongren, the CTE specialist here in Douglas County, like Amy said. Overall, our goal and our outcome for Career and Tech Ed is to provide quality educational programming for students so that they can earn those technical skills, that training to seamlessly transition them from the high school into a ready career day one. We try to prepare our students to meet challenges of the workforce by providing them with real world skills, authentic experiences in those industries, and just give them those skills so they can be successful when they leave high school. So we talked a little bit about some of the career and tech ed programs that Douglas County offers. And just to highlight a few, cosmetology is offered at our Highlands Ranch location. We have criminal justice, fire science, and EMT at Legend and Rock Canyon. Business and marketing can be found at almost all of the area high schools. Agriculture can be found at Douglas County. We have transportation and automotive, which was in the video, that you can find at Ponderosa and Douglas County High School. We have a couple of locations that do culinary arts. Biotech is found at a couple of our schools as well. Computer science, architecture, and engineering. So those are some of the pathways that we offer within Douglas County. And just to reiterate, kind of the video showed a lot of what they do in class, that hands-on learning experience. But one thing that I really think that is valuable, and we'll talk about this probably later, is that most of these CTE programs offer some kind of an industry certification that they can leave high school with, knowing that they have those skills that they can be ready day one, right out of high school. Thank you. So here's just a few pictures that I took of kids in action. And it's important to note that CTE reduces the workforce gap, and we provide long-term job education and skills. So you can see that there's some fire science happening here, some criminal justice, some welding, some engineering. The biotech lab is going on there, and some robotics. So a lot of really cool experiences for kids to have in high school. Just a little slide here on the variety of different programming. I think I talked a lot about that on the previous slides. We have regional programming as well that ensures that high school students have access to all of the areas of interest. CTE teachers have specialized state credentialing and industry experience, so which I think is important because you have teachers working with your students who've actually worked in that career field. So they have that expert experience, that real world life skills that they can then pass on to the students. So one really important thing, and I think that's super important to add, is that when you're involved in a CTE program within Douglas County, you have the opportunity to be enrolled in something called the CTSO, which is a Career and Technical Student Organization. Many of you have probably heard of some of these. The more popular ones are the business and marketing models with DECA and TSA and Skills USA. But what this provides students with is leadership development, networking with industry professionals. They get to apply their skills in the real world settings in a competition type of an environment. So it's really a valuable thing for these kids to have. And probably the most important one is they're engaging in their career field of interest. We have probably, I think, I can't remember exactly how many, so I'm not going to say the number, but we have a lot of students that are involved within these CTSOs that are getting those hands-on skills, providing the leadership, promoting positive work values, and reinforcing our CTE curriculum. And here's Matt.
Thank you, Krista. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Matt Chambliss, the Concurrent Enrollment Specialist for Douglas County School District. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how your high school students can earn college credit and credit towards their high school diploma at the same time. So across our district, we have high school instructors that have master's degrees and high levels on their resume, and they go through a pretty rigorous application process where they then can become concurrent enrollment instructors. So it's great because they have the college level curriculum that they're working with, but they're also great at dealing with high school students and can relate to them at their level. So you're really getting the best of both worlds in concurrent enrollment. We have a number of partners that we work with. Our main partner for concurrent enrollment is Arapahoe Community College. We also work with Red Rocks Community College with our EMT and fire science programs. Metro State University helps us out with our ProStart and culinary programs. And we also have a relationship with CSU Pueblo. So this year we have 150 total concurrent enrollment classes taken and around 8,000 seats that were taken. You can see the improvement from 2017 and 18, where we were about half the number of seats taken. And we still have almost 10,000 seats available. So there's room for our concurrent enrollment students to get more classes across our district. And the great news for parents and students alike, last year in 21-22, we saved our Douglas County School District families $3.7 million. And that's almost double from 2017 and 18 at $1.9 million. So we cover the cost of tuition. However, it is important to realize that students are responsible for fees, textbooks, and supplies in those concurrent enrollment classes. Some of our popular concurrent enrollment classes in the district: Introduction to Business. We have a number of math classes that can get concurrent enrollment credit. College Algebra is our most popular of our math classes. We have English Composition and Introduction to Literature in all of our area high schools. Personal Finance and Principles of Marketing are two of our popular elective courses in concurrent enrollment. So we have 123 different types of CE courses offered in Douglas County School District. 39% of those courses are also CTE. So you can see how our department works together. We work with CE, CTE, and WorkBased Learning as one unit. So if that information sounds good to you, the next steps you can take in concurrent enrollment, have your high school student talk to the counselor at their home high school. That counselor will be able to talk to them about the concurrent enrollment courses available at that home high school, across the district, and at ACC. And each of our concurrent enrollment courses are posted on the high school website. Sometimes there's a tab that'll say concurrent enrollment specifically, or you can look in their academic planning guides on the website. And now I'm going to turn it over to our work-based learning specialist, Kathy Fromer.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm excited to tell you a little bit more about work-based learning. As Amy mentioned earlier, work-based learning gives the students an opportunity to go out and use what they're learning in their career and technical education coursework in the work environment with experts, with industry partners. In addition to that, we also bring business and industry partners into the classroom as guest speakers, working on projects in a variety of different ways, advising us in advisory boards. And in turn, they open up their businesses for us to go and do tours, host interns, and hire our students from our career and technical education programs. There are 4 different ways that students can earn credit by through work-based learning. And the first one is a community-based internship. So normally this happens as a kind of a capstone to the career and technical education course. So what they're doing is studying for, maybe their first semester, 2 semesters within their career pathway. And then it's time for them to take what they're learning and get matched with a mentor within that career pathway. That mentor is an industry volunteer that's an expert, and they get put in 60 hours with that person throughout a semester, and they get 0.5 credit for that. It is an A through F grading scale because it is a course. And though they do not have additional seat time with their teacher, the time they spend with their mentor earns them that credit. So for a student to get involved with a community-based internship, they're going to want to either visit with their counselor or their career and technical education teacher within that career pathway and get pre-registered for it. They need to have had at least 1 career and technical education course to be eligible for that. And in most campuses, it is a senior level option for them. Another way a student can earn credit is through industry-sponsored projects. And these are done within their career and technical education course, doing projects that go above and beyond the classroom time. Most of these are connected with their career and technical education student organization, their CTSO, like Krista mentioned, DECA, FFA, HOSA, all the different organizations that provide our students a competitive opportunity. And those industry-sponsored projects, again, are working with our experts in the area of that career pathway. And so that gives them another excellent opportunity for networking with professionals in that career pathway. The third option is through supervised entrepreneurships. And many of our campuses have simulations that give the students a chance to use, again, what they're learning in career and technical education, but in an entrepreneurial sort of manner, like running a student store, or maybe they're creating videos through video journalism for the different sports teams, or maybe they're doing their sports medicine through the sports teams. So they create kind of an entrepreneurship type of experience for the students, and they can get school credit for that. They need to talk to their CTE teacher for both the industry-sponsored project and the supervised entrepreneurship. Those are all done through their CTE teacher. Last but not least is credit for work. And that's where students get a part-time job in their career pathway, and they get school credit for that. And it's 120 hours for that. And it is a 0.5 credit, and once again, an A through F. They can register through that, through pre-registration with their counselor, or their CTE teacher can help them get set up with that. So 4 really great ways that students can get school credit for work-based learning. Next slide. Here are some of the internship sites that we work with and our credit for work sites. We have great relationships with Centura Health as well as UC Health, also Air Academy for our kids that are in business and marketing, Colorado Community Media for journalism and video journalism as well, Lockheed Martin for our engineers and our advanced technologies, South Metro Fire Rescue. They take on our kids that are interested in fire science. Hollis and Miller is a local company that hires our students or interns our students in engineering and architecture. And our local police agencies as well are great places for our students to intern. Again, if there's anybody that's interested in wanting their student to do this, have them contact their counselor or CTE teacher. Last but not least, we have our final panelist, which is Dan McMenemy, and he'll wrap us up for the evening.
Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate it. I just wanted to share with you a couple new programs that we have coming on this next fall. Very excited to be able to share these with you. These are a direct result of the 2018 Bond and Mill and being able to respond to the needs and wants of our students in Douglas County. The first of these programs is going to be headed up by Leanne Hayen, Venture Academy of Leadership and Entrepreneurship, also known as VAIL, will be located in the ACC South building, which is right by Chaparral High School. The notion of this alternative ed campus is really taking a small group of students and really integrating work-based experiences with the technical knowledge and the education necessary to follow their talent and nurture and make sure that they get where they want to go when they're done with the program in 4 years. It's a new model that has been put together. It's been dreamt about for a couple years, and it's going to be actualized next fall. If you're interested in VAIL and you have a freshman or sophomore student to be, the person you would want to talk to is Leanne, and she can give you more information. The other that I'm very excited to talk about is the district purchased the Legacy campus, used to be the Wildlife Center on Lincoln. And if you've been in that building, you know it's a beautiful building. Currently, it's undergoing construction. We're putting 9 programs in there for this coming fall that are designed for 11th and 12th graders from across our district. The programs on the next slide we'll share with you are really supposed to be a culminating experience for students that are going to garner career and technical education support as well as concurrent enrollment. These programs are really meant to be extensions of the great work that's going on in all 9 of our other comprehensive high schools. We tried very hard to not set up situations where we're competing with a neighboring high school and taking resources and students from those buildings to bring to the Legacy campus. There are a couple exceptions because of the increased demand that we have for programming. A couple of those would be like the CNA program. Now we have 3 different campuses on which we can support the CNA learners of our community. The EMS program is another one, as well as culinary arts. These are very high demand programs in our district, and we want to make sure that we have the seats for students to participate in those. In the past, we've had to buy slots from other school districts for our students, and you know the cumbersomeness of trying to provide transportation or get to transportation to Cherry Creek or Littleton. It became really onerous for our students. So we're really excited that we're going to open up with everything advanced robotics, architectural engineering, down to aviation for if you want to be a pilot, and secure network technologies. And you can see the other programs there. But very excited to provide this programming to our 11th and 12th graders. So I really want to thank you for participating this evening and listening to us. And I'm very proud of the work that my team does. These are fabulous educators that not only respond to staff members and parents, but really have a pulse on what our students need and should be preparing themselves for moving into the future. So we are very excited to answer any questions you have. Another great resource for you would be our district website. And if you go underneath the Postsecondary Readiness place on our district website, you should be able to find a lot of documents, a lot of information that can share with you specific programming at your neighborhood high school and also across the district. But thanks again for joining us this evening.
Thanks, Dan. While we wait for questions, I don't see any yet. I will let everyone know that this particular webinar has been recorded, and the link to that will be sent out to you directly to the email that you registered with, along with more information about the Post-Secondary Readiness Department and the links that everyone was discussing. That is part of our Douglas County School District website. And this is so much information, and as an adult, it's interesting to think about, gosh, if I had this opportunity, when I was in high school, how much sooner would I have discovered what I really want to do? So one of our panelists mentioned engaging in the field of interest, and as an adult, those are very exciting words, I think. So
I could add a little bit to that. And I think one of the things as a parent, I know when my kids were going through this, one of the things that we really tried to surface are what were their passions and their skills. And then did that marry to a specific area that might be an area of interest moving forward? And we've had kids go through some of these programs, and at the end they say, you know what? I really like being in there, but I decided that's not what I want to do. And that's another power of these programs, is they get an opportunity to do it in a low stakes environment. So they're in their neighborhood high school. It's not costing parents tuition dollars. But a lot of our students go on, and they definitely have a passion when they leave our school district and go and become exactly what they learned here, what they wanted to do. So it really comes down to the individual student, and parents as active partners working with our school counselors. You can surface some of those things, from statewide assessments to the ACT to the kind of electives kids are taking in their classrooms at the high school. All those things will help guide you.
Yeah, it's a tremendous amount of guidance at a young age. And I love the idea of being able to participate in them with knowing that you're in a safe environment, and as you decide what you want to do with your future. I do have one question that came in, and we may have discussed it, but the question is, when should a student begin to look at these programs? At what year in school should they start getting really engaged with things?
Well, I can take a shot at that, and then I'll pass it off to my team. But I think the conversation really starts as a middle schooler. And what I mean by that is that's when students will start engaging in the ICAP work with their counselor and with their middle school principal, and really start thinking about, where are the things that I'm really good at, that I'm passionate about. And then as you move into high school, that 9th and 10th grade year, it's really important to select electives that are compatible with what it is you think you want to do. So for instance, if you think you want to be in a multimedia career, you may consider going into some computer electives as a freshman and sophomore that really expose you to that, and then move into the 11th and 12th grade more specific classes at your area high school that specializes in that. For some of the things like the CNA and the EMT, really having a good background in science is going to be not a prerequisite, but it would be very helpful in doing that. So really start thinking about that as a middle schooler, and then as a 9th and 10th grader, taking those electives that are of interest. And then as an 11th and 12th grader, you can move on to the specific programming that we offer across our district.
Thanks. That's a great answer. I had one other question. I'm not quite sure how it applies, but the question is that if a student is interested in an industry that perhaps isn't covered in any of the great post-secondary readiness, is that something that they should talk to their counselor about? Or who and how would you recommend that they pursue a particular type of career path?
I'll jump in, and I was just going to add on to the last question or answer that Dan mentioned. The other opportunity that is really beneficial for students and families is to go visit those CTE and CE nights and 8th grade nights at their high schools, because they usually highlight all the programs. Sometimes they let you walk through the building and see the rooms and all of those things, so that can maybe help students kind of find what is it that they feel like they're interested in. To the next question about, finding access point to a career path that maybe we don't offer. I think our first line of defense is counselors, because they have such a unique experience of working with students and knowing that learner and talking to them and helping them plan for what it is they're interested in. But, we're always looking at what are the things that still are needed and how can we, serve needs for students. But one student is hard to, make new programs for. So it's just looking at what the interest is. And I think we're always trying to find that pulse of students and what the next opportunity is. But counselors are a wealth of knowledge, and they really have a lot of resources at their fingertips that can help them connect students to what they're interested in.
Okay, great. Thank you. We have another question, and that is asking if students leave their home or their neighborhood high school or their community high school half day and go to other schools to access CTE in their particular field of interest, or do they register at the high school with that particular track?
So I'm going to answer that with a definitive yes. Some of the programs are offered within the home high school the student lives at. And so looking at that booklet that we created, some of the programs that kids are interested in are at their home high school or a high school very close to them. There are the specialized programs at the Legacy campus. The majority of the junior and senior level classes that are career and tech ed are half-day programs. And one of the exciting things that we did this year, where we were able to align all of the high school schedules. So first period is first period everywhere. That was one of the barriers that our students had to accessing these programs in the past, was different high school schedules didn't allow them to leave their home high school to go to a neighboring high school or the Legacy campus to access programming, because they would miss too much school. So for instance, this current year, we have students that are accessing the cosmetology program that have to take an overload credit-wise to be able to graduate from their home high school. And so by removing that barrier of having multiple schedules at the different high schools, that helped. The other thing that we're working very hard at is trying to get transportation to provide a shuttle system from our local high schools to other high schools and to the Legacy campus, so kids that do not have their own car or a way to drive themselves there can have access. So we had about 1,000 kids that asked to be a part of a program outside of their home high school. One of the questions we asked was about transportation. And in that transportation question, we found that there was about 10% of those 1,000 students needed a ride. So we felt that that number was enough to try to go to secure transportation for students to have a consistent way to get to these programs. But so what it would look like is I may have my first and second period on Monday and Wednesday, maybe at the Legacy campus for, let's say, CNA programming. And then I would go back to my home high school for the afternoon on Monday and Wednesday. On Tuesday and Thursday, I would be full-time at my home high school. And then on Friday, my first and second period, I would be asynchronous. So I may have assignments from that classroom at the Legacy campus. I wouldn't have to travel there, but I might have assignments or things that I need to do similar to what a college course would be like, where you have some free time to finish these assignments. And then I would have the rest of my schedule at my home high school. So it's there's a little bit of travel and a little bit of time commitment involved, but it's really going to be connected so students won't miss so much time. They won't still be on track to graduate.
Oh, that's great. And I know that changing the bell schedule was a very important part of making this happen for all of our high school students. So excited that we could do that. We don't have any more questions at this moment. So I could go ahead and share a little bit about our next Parent University. It's the webinar will be on March 29th, and the topic is nutrition, what growing bodies need to eat. We are working on the details of that right now, so please look for announcements about that in your social media, emails, and newsletters that come out from Douglas County School District Communications. And I don't think we have any other questions unless anyone of our panelists would like to add any final notes. We probably will wrap up this webinar. Okay. All right, well, great night. So much information between, let's see. Oh, nope, same question. Okay. So much information between last week and tonight and the month of February for CTE month. So thank you once again to our entire post-secondary readiness team. Great evening and so much information. And thank you to all of our webinar attendees for joining us. Hope you have a wonderful evening and we hope to see you soon. Good night.